I hope you guys enjoyed the RNG Acceleration Fest on the Capricorn Cup. Our next CM is the Aquarius Cup, which will be our very first third CM. I hope you guys have been investing in getting at least one good third UMA. Let's start off with the general information for this racetrack. The racetrack for this CM is the Tokyo 1600 meter third, or in game, it is called the February Stake. The condition for this racetrack is left-handed, winter, sunny, and firm. The secret speed stat threshold for the CM is speed and stamina. Looking at the race course itself, it is almost identical to the third version of the race course, and we all have played this race course once for the CM3. So I'm pretty sure most of you should be familiar with the race course itself. The strategy are also pretty much about the same, with a little bit of addition due to the new support cards and the UMA changes. The racetrack starts with a straight into a corner, and if you remember from our previous CM3, the dreaded no overtake zone also exists on this racecourse. If you don't know what no overtake zone is, to make it really simple, no overtake zone is a zone where 200 meters before the first corner, it is very hard for your UMA to do an overtake because they are forced to go into a straight line. And UMA who can secure a huge lead will hog the inner rail and gain a huge lead over time from the other UMA. Meaning, UMA that is very strong at the start, like Smart Falcon, is very strong on this race course. After this straight, we will go into two corners before the last spurt. This means all the speed skill where you want to focus for the middle leg will be the corner skills, because they are really good and can also give you the speed carryover. So skills like Professor of Curvature, Mall Corners, and other corner skills are good to get better positioning. The acceleration for this race course that insta procs and the best is always for corners are angling and scheming and let's bomb some iron. Both of these skill procs as soon as the late race hits. Beyond the other side, procs on the final corner right here, and it does not give you the effect at all, so do not take it. The second strongest acceleration skill on this race course is the straight acceleration skill that procs about 30 meter late right about this area. Both of these skills are the acceleration skill that we just used in the CM. It is the Victoria for Plancha and Mummy Creek's unique. So if you are a front runner, you can mix angling and scheming with any of these straight acceleration inherit. Since there is an uphill about 30 meter of the last spurt, acceleration skill that is Highlander is also good for this CM. OG Taiki Shuttle's updated shooting for victory lasts about half the duration for this CM, so she is actually very strong ace for this CM. And as we know, Taiki Shuttle is a beast when it comes to the mile distance racetrack. Please do note that the inherited version of Taiki Shuttle Uniques doesn't work on the CM as the duration doesn't last. So you need to run the actual OG Taiki Shuttle for the shooting for victory to work. And closers will also have access to straightaway spurt as per usual because of the straight at the late race section. Aside from that, all the gambling acceleration skills is always there as a backup options. Stuff like on your left, head on, no stopping me, and ignited power skill. For the dirt distance, we also have another extra gambling acceleration skill that is lead the charge. This skill is exclusive to Agnes Digital. Alright, let's talk about the stamina requirements as it is the most important one. The recommended stat line for this is 600 stamina plus 300 guts. Definitely get at least 601 stamina because it is the secret speed boost stat threshold for this CM. As for the three other stats, as per usual, max speed, power, and width as high as you can. I won't be too picky about it, just try to get it as high as you can with your card capabilities. The general build for the deck is pretty much the with maxing deck with Rico. For speed, just slot in Kita-san and any of your SR speed card as usual. And as for the wit cards, you can choose between Meiichiro Arden for the page chaser corner and left-handed hints, Fuji Kiseki for the mall distance hint, or Marvelous Sunday for the middle leg skills. You can also slot in Fukukitaru just for the raw effects of these strong trainings. Of course, you can just borrow the usual SSR cards like Fine Motion for Speed Star or Nice Nature for on your left. I want to also give a huge shout out to a niche card that doesn't really have a slot in the deck because they are a power card. That is the Daitaku Helios power card. This card is just a very good Mal hint card. 5 skills is all very good for Mal, and it also comes with level 3 hints. The thing is, having power cards on the deck is really awkward, but otherwise, this is a solid hint card. Once again, always prioritize corner skills over straight skills, as it can give you speed carryover and will give you the positioning to proc your exertion skill. Let's talk about the meta for this CM. The strongest style for the CM, of course, will be the frontrunners. They are just favored by the position and the exertion skills. Angling and Scheming, Victoria por Plancha, and Mummy Creek's Unique, all of these exertion skill position work in their favor. That is not to say that other styles are weak. Pace Chaser will still be the second most consistent in power, followed by the Late Surger and the Enclosers. Enclosers is very awkward on the CM because it does not have a single good third encloser. You don't have Narita Daishin for the Encouraging Shadow, or Gold Ship just being Gold Ship due to the aptitude barrier. So you will end up forcing other style Umas into enclosers. This will be Umas such as Agnes Digital or Haru Urara. First, I want to open up the talk about frontrunners with the existence of Silent Suzuka. Runaway Suzuka is very strong on the CM, but the drawback is that she has G aptitude on third. If you can somehow get the aptitude to A, she will be a beast. She can work as a frontrunner denier, deny angling and scheming, and just become an ace on top of it. She also has unrestrained that works really well as another source of acceleration for this CM. You might think that the Bermuda Triangle PTSD is resurfacing, but it's still not as bad as it though, because we still do not have Marusensky. I don't think we will experience the same triple front cancer setup as the previous CM. Suzuka itself can also be used as a blocker to deny Smart Falcons and the other frontrunners. However, I myself am not too sure on the bare minimum of the third aptitude required to reliably block the other frontrunners, as I do not have Suzuka myself to test this on the rooms. But just know that this actually exists because even Seru was using it on rooms. Without Suzuka existing in the rooms, Smart Falcon will pretty much eat the lobby alive as her kit is just well suited for this racetrack. Even more so that she is a third Uma on top of it. There's really not much to explain, she's just simply the best frontrunner for this third track. This CM will also be different from the JP and Korean server due to the Taiki shooting for victory rework. Taiki is also now viable as a pace chaser, and a really strong one on top of it. Taiki has a B third aptitude, so it's not really hard to build her. Her kit also just screams the middle distance, alongside with the buff from the scenario link, giving you Mall Maven for free. Taiki is simply the strongest base chaser for this CM due to this. Just behind Taiki, there are a couple of other base chaser options. People were using Festival Gold City. No, not because of her battle formation gold debuff skill, but because of her unique simply being good for DCM. Her unique is an acceleration and a speed bonus skill if she gets blocked on the side on the final corner. If she pops this unique at a good timing, she just accelerates and wins. There's also always El Condor Pasa because of her unique. You can build her as a pace if you're lazy, or front if you want to grind a bit and get better results. For late surger, the most popular Uma is Ogre Cap and Agnes Digital. Ogre is just always the same Ogre, never the best but never the worst. Always above average because Triumphant Pulse is a good unique and Ogre is very easy to build. Agnes Digital is the interesting talk point because of her gold skill, Lead the Charge. This is a gambling extraction gold skill and is innate to her. This skill is pretty much only exclusive to her currently. Agnes Digital herself is also a very strong Uma as a late surger or encloser with a good unique and aptitude suited for the third distance. So there's really not much modification of aptitude needed. Overall, very easy to train. If you want to build her as encloser, you can also just inherit straightaway Spurt and she will work just fine. Due to our first anniversary update being pushed so early, We also have a speed debuff skill for the mall distance, and that is the Keen Eye Gold skill. This skill comes from the Gold City SSR speed card, and if you want to build a nasty speed debuffer, it is a really good gold skill to have on your Uma. People on JP and Korean server was also forcing Valentine Bourbon on the third aptitude because she was pretty good. However, I think it is not worth it for our server because if you want to grind hard for the G third aptitude to A, then just build a Runway Suzuka instead because it will give you a better win rate. For the recommended Umas in each style, there's not really much third Uma out there, so there will be not much variation in teams. That is, unless people are brute forcing and converting G aptitude Uma into a viable Uma, which I personally think is too hard for most of the player right now. Let's dive deeper into the option for each style. For frontrunners, the top pick is always Smart Falcon. She's just the best for this track, and on top of it, she have good third attitude to start with. She has a unique that can keep the lead for the no overtake zone, and she will enter the corner keeping the lead on the inner rail, giving her massive advantage. The second strongest frontrunner will be El Condor Pasa. Pasa is easy to build with her good third aptitude as well, and Victoria por Plancha, if it activates, will give you an insane boost to win the race. The usual option like Summer Marisensky is also always there. She has the aptitude and can work just fine. Valentine Bourbon or Suzuka was also an option, but you need to force her aptitude from G into A, and I don't really recommend it as getting to inspiration to bring it to A is pretty hard. Space Chaser has pretty much only two options, that is Taiki Shuttle and the Festival Gold City. I've already explained why both of these Uma is really good in the meta section talk, so I won't discuss it again here. Late Surger is the most flexible as always, because if you proc the Gambling Acceleration skill, you can just pop off and win. The options are Oguri Cap, Against Digital, New Year Haru Aurora, and Fantasy Pasa. They are all about the same strong, but Agnes Digital just has a bit of an edge due to the Lead the Charge gold skill. New Year Haru Urara is better than the OG version because the unique skill is a speed skill. She is not the best, but people will run her because she is Haru Urara. Fantasy Pasa has an acceleration unique skill, and if you also practice at the correct timing with the overtake, it's pretty disgusting. You will need to stack a lot of corner skills on her to make it work. The other downside is you cannot run the OG version of Pasa if you run her on your team. So most people doesn't end up running the fantasy version because of this. There is really no good and closer for third once again, unless you brute force the aptitude. So people were converting runners like Haru Urana and Agnes Digital to become and closer. The way to build it is pretty much the same as Late Surger, just slap in Straightaway Spurt and Daring Strike from the new Admire Vega Power card if you can, and it will just work. Christmas Oguri is not the best for this track. You will need to build a tree recovery gamble build. If you want to run her as a late surger or encloser, you can rely on corner recovery or Haru Urara's inherit. Both of these skill will proc on the final corner, and if it pops on the correct timing, you can simply just win. If you want a more consistent one, you can build a frontrunner version with Moxie to activate it on the uphill. But still, I do not recommend pulling this Christmas Ogre when there are a lot more other options that are better. Lastly, we have the team compositions. The most popular team composition will be 2 front plus 1 pace chaser. You can just run Smart Falcon and El Pasa as the front runner, with Taiki Shuttle as the backup ace on the pace position. You can simply just win the CM with this. It is the easiest to build and will be the most meta setup for the CM. The next setup is Runway Suzuka plus 2 aces. This setup will require the Runway Suzuka to work as a blocker or as an ace. The other two aces can be flexible, really. It can be Smart Falcon for front, or you can also fit in Pace Chaser or Late Surgers here. Just keep in mind if you run another front runner to take other acceleration instead of angling and scheming because Suzuka will just block them. The last setup is a pretty interesting setup. It's an ace plus 2 keen eye debuffer. This setup is really good for solo ace comms. You just run 2 keen eye debuffer to make sure your Oshi runs the fastest and win the game for you. You can also just make normal ace but slap in keen eye on them. And it will work the same as Dominator debuffer for the medium distance racetrack. That's all you need to know for the Aquarius Cup. I hope you have enough time to prepare for the CM. It shouldn't be a hard CM as it is almost the same as CM3 map, so most of your previous understanding will be applied here. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll catch you guys in the next one.